Hi, good morning. Today we're at Milton, and as you can see, one of my favourite dishes for breakfast is Eggs Benedict. So, after eating, I'll tell you how it was and we'll begin. Well, the breakfast was delicious, nice runny eggs. I'm always reminded of my childhood, dipping in my soldiers of boiled eggs. Anyway, let's move on. Before we do, I'd like to remind everyone, Asia isn't perfect. Indonesia isn't perfect. Bali isn't perfect. There's no such thing as utopia. But I'd like to think that it has areas that are far better than Western Europe, UK, Ireland. And one of its main focuses is on its indigenous people. Asia generally looks after its indigenous people. So, one of the phrases I often hear is the world's gone mad. Well, to be honest, it's not the world. Okay, so let's have a look at some areas where I don't think the world has gone mad. And the first one is the LGBTQ+, which, frankly, there's no discussion in area. It doesn't exist. It's not taught in class, it's not taught at university, it's not in the headlines every day. Males entering women's sports, women's toilets, women's hospitals. Absurd. It just doesn't happen. In fact, in Thailand we have what we call lady boys, and in Indonesia we have banshees. But it doesn't mean they themselves think of themselves as women. No, of course not. They'd be laughed at. Now, homosexuality, of course, is illegal in a lot of areas of Asia, but I have quite a few friends who are gay, and some very good teachers I know of are gay. But you're not allowed to bring it into the classroom. There's no drag queens coming into libraries and schools. What's more, nobody's going on demos or marches saying, oh, we're proud to be gay. So what about law and order, which unfortunately has become a joke in Western Europe, where sentences are lenient, police undermined? Well, let's say, for example, I or a local were to strike a policeman. Well, on the way to jail, they'd be preparing the champagne and caviar, and of course, a bit of a welcoming committee. And when I woke up the following morning, I'd have a headache, and maybe a black eye, and maybe a broken nose. Well, human rights. Well, at the end of the day, this is called a deterrent. I'm sorry, but people generally don't act thuggish here. There's no, oh, look at me and I'm gonna gob you. No, nothing like that on the whole. If you want trouble, you'll find trouble, don't worry about that. But generally the streets are safe, generally. How about demos every week, every Saturday? No way the public won't put up with that, especially if it's about foreign affairs. And if you are a foreigner, student, you're not allowed to demo. It's on your bike. People won't put up with that. So generally nobody dares. Again, it's a deterrent. The world's gone mad? Well, not in Asia. How about foreigners dictating to locals, the indigenous population, such as that horrid woman a few days ago berating Nigel Farage, live on the BBC no less? Or even worse, the indigenous people being dictated to by a politician who isn't from that country. Now, Indians generally get on with Brits and the Dutch generally get on with Indonesians. But if a Dutchman or a Brit came into their pulpit and started dictating terms to the Indonesians and the Indians, there'd be hell to pay. The world's gone mad? Well, not in Asia. How about bring us your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free? Well, those are words, as many of you will know, on the pedestal of the Statue of Liberty. But they're not in the Constitution. They were written by Emma Lazarus, who was a communist. So, of course, America did pass its Civil Rights Act in 1868, which states you're born in America, you're American, but they're a nation of immigrants. Europe doesn't have this, neither does Asia on the whole. So Asia definitely will not allow migrants, whether economic migrants or fleeing from war, they will not allow them on their shores. And it's not rocket science to know that if I'm an illegal invader, I'm going to choose the UK. They're going to give me lodgings, they're going to give me dentistry, they're going to give me medical, they're going to give me an allowance every week. You won't be getting that in Singapore, India, or Indonesia. The world's gone mad? Well, not in Asia. But Philip, you say, why do you care? You're Indonesian. Well, England's my country of birth, and I feel very lucky to have been born there, warts and all. As well as a fantastic family, it gave me an education and experiences which I believe most people could only have dreamed of. And I'm saddened to see the UK, Ireland, Western Europe fall into such disrepair. Oh, and I almost forgot. Don't be a sheep.